各位听众朋友大家好，欢迎再次收听史麦微Show。最近呢，同款咱依然是邀请咱的 Hazie 来自于 UK， 我们要让他来跟我们聊聊英文的学习。他是一个 native speaker, British English native speaker. So I'm gonna have Hazie to share her experience teaching English in Taiwan. No, Korea. Oh, sorry. 这个主持人没有做功课 I didn't do my homework. Sorry for that. 小编不要剪掉 My editor, you don't have to cut this out. I'm going to apologize myself. My deep apology to my listeners, okay? All right. So, yeah, and she's going to share with us her teaching experience in Korea. Also, what she found in Taiwan when people speak English. Also, she will offer us some advice or some suggestions. How can we speak English well?
Yes.
There you go. Hazie.
Welcome
欢迎我们的大来宾 Hazie.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Welcome back. Actually, I was an English teacher first in South Korea for 1 year, more than 1 year, at an English village, which is a little different to normal school because it's a cram school, but all the classrooms are immersive learning. So each classroom has a theme. There was a supermarket classroom, airplane classroom, gym classroom, and the students learn through role play, interactive experiences, and things like this. So my teaching job was very hands-on, dramatic, dynamic, very interesting. So I did that for 1 year. And I was also teaching English in India for 4 months as a volunteer, and in Japan, just one-to-one children.
One-on-one, private student.
Mm.
Okay. Scenario, right?
And I also did a summer camp where I joined in some activities, leading the children, all in English, which is very valuable. So I have a diverse experience of teaching and interacting with students.
Okay. Is that difficult for people to learn the international language, English?
So I think learning any foreign language is always a challenge. I have my own experience of learning Japanese, Korean, and now learning Mandarin Chinese. It's very difficult because you have to change how you think. And if you try to always translate the words in your mind and try to worry about the grammar and think too much, it's very difficult to reach a natural fluency. So you have to change how you think in order to get good at the foreign language. So that was a big lesson to me. I have to stop thinking in English, stop thinking like a British person to speak well in Japanese. Because the language is so different.
All right. So, what about people in Taiwan when they speak English?
So what I found in Taiwan, which is similar in Japan and Korea as well, is that people, especially in school, spend a lot of time memorizing vocabulary or grammar, but not really practicing this. And maybe they worry a lot about making mistakes, and it's more about passing a test, and they worry about getting the spelling and the vocabulary correct, when actually you could probably communicate with a smaller range of vocabulary if you can have confidence and aim for speaking. But I found in Taiwan and Japan and Korea, people focus too much, perhaps, on memorizing, when instead it should be focusing on practicing.
Yeah. So I always encourage people who are also learning any language with the slogan, use what you learn.
That's good.
Use it in your daily life.
Yeah.
Don't just study or learning, keep learning, but you never use it in your daily life. What a shame, right?
Yeah.
So, use what you learn can make what you learn more practice, down to earth.
Exactly.
We're learning to use it, not just keep memorizing it. So what? For test, examination, or even you have any kind of entrance examination, or you get certificates. Then so what? If you no longer use it, you stop using it, you forget them all. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I think I deliberately searched for immersive learning jobs where the teaching is done through immersion. So we're not holding a textbook and reading out things for students to write down and remember on the test. Instead, we're giving them scenarios, role plays, scripts, conversations, opportunities to practice speaking. So I 100% agree. It's all about practicing.
But now, I think it's not just about the superficial problem obstacle for people learning any language. The point is their psychological states. They are afraid. They are anxious. They're scared, what if I made a mistake? What if I make people awkward? They think too much. They overthink.
Makes sense.
Just do it. I think if the language native speaker, they know you are foreign to them. And English is not your mother tongue. Even you make a mistake, they won't mind.
No, absolutely not.
As long as you guys can communicate with each other.
Absolutely.
And get to the point. And you won't make each other misunderstand. That's no problem. So just open your mouth and just say it out.
Exactly.
Some nice people, they will correct you. Not just because they want to mock you or make fun of you, just because they want to make sure. Is that your point? Is that what you mean? That's it. Have any awkward experience to you when you have an English conversation with someone else?
These days, I don't even notice people's mistakes anymore because I'm just focusing on the conversation and thinking what are they trying to communicate. So I don't mind if the word is not the exact word they're looking for or the grammar is a little unusual. I don't even register it. It's just communication. No, but yeah, there's some times when there's difficulty in communicating and we need to rely on translation, like translation software or something. And that doesn't feel awkward. It feels like we can both learn something in these moments. If you can focus on thinking, what are they trying to communicate?
And what do you think, Taiwan, is the English proficiency so far?
In general,
over the past year?
I think it's good. I can only compare it to like Japan. I think it's lower in Japan. But I think in general people are good at speaking English. But yes, a little afraid. Sometimes I walk into a shop and you can see the fear in their eyes when they're like, oh no, a foreigner, where's the English menu? You can see it in their eyes, the fear of speaking in English.
Okay, you calm them down.
Speak Chinese.
Really?
I try, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes.
别紧张 Take your time. Don't be nervous, right? 我可以听得懂，你慢慢说。Is that the way you comfort them?
No, I just order in Chinese. Just get straight to the point.
Okay.
Then they don't need to worry about the communication.
Okay. Now what you can speak Mandarin?
A little. Enough to survive. And there's always Google Translate.
Oh, okay. Oh, really? Google Translate, use it?
On the app, if it's necessary.
Okay.
Very helpful.
Very helpful. So, any suggestions for Taiwanese students to use English in their daily life?
Good question. Of course, it always depends on what you're curious about. Like we mentioned in the previous episode, we're talking about curiosity and comfort zones. And if there's something you're interested in, find it in English. If you're interested in music, find some English music.
Okay.
If you're interested in sports, maybe you can watch sports in English or practice your sports and think about things in English. And if you're interested in cooking, find English recipes.
It could be motivate you easily, more easily, right?
Exactly.
Okay. People are curious about, especially me, like me. What's the difference between British English and American English?
Yeah, so of course British English is the origin of English, England English. But now English is spread all around the world. It's a global language. There's Canadian English, South African English, Indian English. So many dialects, you could say, of English. But American English, a bit like simplified Chinese. They've simplified some spellings and some of the vocabulary is different.
What about a slang?
Slang might be different.
Yeah, idioms, something like that.
Can be different. However, because of social media and things like this, it's common that I think they're becoming more similar. British people know the American terminology.
Is there comparison when you speak American English, which means you are, people look down on you or something like that?
It could be. Some people in the UK, I think people don't want to adopt American English. There's a pushback.
Wow.
Maybe because I do think it's like with simplified and traditional Chinese, where, for example, with the Chinese character love, in simplified, they just took out the heart.
Huh?
It's just gone from the simplified. This one. Xin, right? Xin. It's been taken away.
Heart.
They took it out of...
Xin, yeah.
Yeah, Xin, right?
Oh.
Took it out of the character for love. So it feels like the
good,
meaning is a little bit lost.
A sense.
And in English, there's some vocabulary. For example, the throat is called esophagus. Esophagus. It's a complicated word.
Yeah.
Esophagus, spelled like O-E-S.
O-E-S.
P-H-A-G-U-S. But it starts with O. But Americans, they just got rid of the O. And esophagus. It makes sense because of the pronunciation. But the O-E, this part of the word, comes from Greek. It's a very Greek origin word. There's a few words like this, like estrogen, esophagus, and they just cut off the O from all of these words. And then it feels like the Greek history from the English language is just wiped away. And maybe hundreds, if not thousands years of that word passed down through the language to reach the word esophagus that we use almost every day in English. And then they just delete the letter.
So you dislike that?
I think
British people don't like that.
I think there's an argument about it. Yeah, I would say I don't personally have a strong opinion, but I do think that it's a shame. The history is gone, and then maybe we forget. Maybe we forget. Maybe that's okay. Maybe it's okay to forget. But it's like with the love, the Chinese character love, and just take away the heart.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's just strong. Feels strange.
Because that's the most important part, fundamental one,
right?
Essential one. Once it is gone, it means nothing or meaningless.
And the next generation will never know.
Oh, yeah.
They'll learn esophagus with no O and never know it was Greek.
Root.
Etymology.
Oh. Wow.
The root origin. Things like this. There's many other examples.
Okay. And how do you keep it intact?
When I use these words, I make sure to use the British spelling wherever possible. But these days, it's hard to know. For example, centre. The spelling centre, like cultural centre. British English, that is spelled C-E-N-T-R-E.
Yeah.
But in American English,
E-R.
E-R. But these days, I think even British people forget. Because it's such a small difference.
What about either?
Either, yeah.
Either.
I think that just depends on the accent.
Either. So even for British people, they speak either.
Yeah, it's both those.
Both. Wow. Yeah, I know. British English, I seldom heard curl your tongue, you know. Like father. Or father. Father. What about American?
Father.
Okay.
I'm not a professional at this.
No. Because you're British.
Yeah.
I can tell you didn't really curl your tongue. Yeah. Father. But for American, father. Father. Yeah, father. Even you cannot mimic the way Americans speak English.
I think even Americans have some different accents, right?
Yeah.
So I need to listen and then I can imitate.
So you correct each other? I mean...
no, generally no.
Not really. Okay.
But if my British friends use American English, I might correct them. Say, hey, be careful.
Yeah.
You should use the British spelling. You should use the British word.
And what is their response to you?
Sometimes they laugh, sometimes they don't
Come
care.
on.
Yeah.
Just language, just communicating.
Or they're like, oh, I never noticed.
Oh?
These days. Oh, I never noticed. Like esophagus, it's not a super common word, so maybe they never knew.
Oh, especially for younger generation.
Exactly.
Wow.
And with the influence of American pop culture. Now we've got social media. The most common word you'll see will probably be American English.
So now we're talking about, the word or pronunciation between differ from each other. What about the culture?
Oh, there's many differences, I think.
For example?
Between USA and UK? I think Americans are much more extroverted and happy to talk to strangers and have small talk. And you'll see it when you travel. And British people get a little bit surprised or uncomfortable when Americans want to have a conversation.
You mean gossip?
Just talk like, oh, today the weather is nice, right? But I don't know who they are. I don't expect to talk to somebody on the train or in the supermarket. Okay. They're happy to have a long discussion. Okay. And maybe they're more willing to share personal information with somebody they just met. This is an observation, I think.
All right.
It's perhaps a stereotype. Okay.
Stereotype.
Yeah.
In my own opinion or in my own memory, over education I have received, in Taiwan, because like I said, I always say I've never been abroad, so I never really experienced the culture out there, in your country or some other countries. Like you asked me the curtain right behind you, there's a picture, Ben. What is that? Big Ben. Yeah. All right, Big Ben clock, right?
Yeah, big stupid clock. Apparently.
Yeah, and Hazie, when I asked me, what about my impression in England, I said, not much. It's just stereotype like that. And gentle, and lady. But you know what, guys? Hazie answered me immediately. No, it's not what you think.
Yes, exactly.
So what is the truth? What's the reality? My image is wrong about it?
Yeah, perhaps. Gentleman is long gone. Romance is dead, as they say. There's no more.
What happened?
No more top hats. No more people walking around in suits with walking canes. It's all about. It's just normal modern day culture now.
Because the Industrial Revolution, something like that, or what?
It could be, and maybe people got more and more individualistic, and more. Division of wealth is different. So before there was upper class and lower class people, but now it's a bit more mixed. So there's not really this gentleman culture and afternoon tea and the Queen and all of this.
No more.
Not really. But so I think it's more comfortable that way, no?
Really?
Just live a normal life. Don't have to act like a...
So square, so serious. Here comes the king.
Exactly.
Salutes.
None of this anymore. In fact, I was thinking, I don't think I ever had to sing the UK national anthem or anything like this, or look at the flag and salute. We never did any of this, but I see it a lot more in other countries.
I remember there are 4 parts, right? Wales, Ireland, Scotland, England.
But not Ireland, but Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland.
And Ireland is a separate country.
Independent.
And they're in the European Union. Since maybe 100 years.
Okay.
Where they've been separate. My grandparents' generation, there was a war and famine. There's many problems between England and Ireland, so fighting. But now it seems resolved. And so in the UK we have England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland. Each of those has their own flag and their own language. Not only English. There's also Welsh and Scottish Gaelic, Irish Gaelic, and very different languages to English now.
Okay, and they have their own local government?
Yes, but they're all centralized with the British government.
And which one do you like the best?
I think Wales.
Wales?
Yeah.
How come?
I have some very good friends in Wales, and if you go there, it feels like England, but many years ago, 50 years ago, and there's very old buildings, very spaced out, a lot of green space, beautiful hills, flowers, sheep in the fields, roaming. It feels very relaxed. It's good.
So is that helpful for people to get to know more about the language culture first, and that will help them to learn the language sooner or better?
To understand culture?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, because first of all, maybe if you know more, you'll be more curious. And like we say, curiosity is important. So if you learn more about the people and the place, you'll see why the language is like this. And you can have a more well-rounded picture.
So what else would you like to suggest to people to learn English well? Any tips?
Some tips. I think, like we said, is to practice speaking as much as possible. One thing I did with Japanese to learn Japanese was to write every day some paragraph or two in Japanese, and maybe or write a story, or record myself saying some sentences, and practice speaking with native speakers.
Oh yeah.
Promise myself, don't speak English.
Would you like to introduce yourself in Japanese now?
Can do. どうぞよろしくお願いします。私、ヘイジーと申します。イギリス人で1年ぐらい日本に住んだことがあります。その時は留学生でした。
はい。
それは東京に住んでました。
Oh.
で、今は台湾に暮らしています。台湾での生活はとっても楽しいです。
台湾に好きですか？
台湾は好きです。
台湾にご飯好きですか？
食べ物好きです。特に私はベジタリアンだから肉と魚が食べられなくて、それで台湾に来たらベジタリアン料理がたくさんあります。それで安心できます。
ヘイジの日本語の上手です。
まだまだですよ。
Much better than mine.
I hope my Chinese can also get to this level one day.
Then stay longer here in Taiwan.
Don't tempt me.
Yeah, I'm doing this.
I'll be back.
You will, don't worry.
Yeah.
Push yourself, right?
I believe.
You will. Okay, so what about the most challenging part for you to learn any language?
It's true. So I mentioned one of the hardest part is to change how you think. It's very hard to let go of your native language or something like this and
deeply rooted in
change what you don't want to think in your native language when you want to speak the foreign language. There's a point when you don't need that anymore. You can just speak in the foreign language and then it becomes natural. But that is the next level. So I think the hard part, besides having confidence and worrying, perhaps the hardest part is to remember so many new words and grammar when you don't have the bigger picture. It all sounds very foreign. It's all very complicated, especially Chinese characters. If you've never seen them before, it looks like ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, like drawings.
That's what I'm going to say.
But you have to do is break it down small. Start small. Like even the Chinese character, if you look at, for example, the character dragon, it's got moon in it, and then you're okay, there's a moon, and then there's like some other components to the Chinese character, or in the character love, you can see there's the heart is there, and then you slowly start to build this image and just keep building on that. But at first it's very overwhelming to see the 20,000, 50,000 words and Chinese characters or whatever it is you need to learn. Or in English, there's so many. The spelling doesn't really match the pronunciation sometimes, and there's many complicated things about learning. But
is there any tip for you, like a suffix, prefix, something like that? Affix, anything about related to water, her, water, her, and 川, ocean, 海, is water. Three dots.
The 3 dots.
That's right.
Yeah, I know from Japanese. So my reading is okay.
Okay.
Speaking still.
All right. So I think the amount of words really matters, right? The very simple words, or how many words you gotta have in your memory, then you can come up with a complete sentence.
Yeah, interesting question. Because I would have said maybe more than 1,000 or 2,000. But then recently, I met a Taiwanese guy from Taipei, and he's been learning Japanese for 2 months, and he could already have a basic conversation in Japanese. And he said he didn't try to think too hard about what we're saying. He just listens to the words and thinks about what we might be talking about. And then he could have maybe his grammar wasn't perfect, but he could say the important words and
key
express,
word.
and we could understand. And then I thought, maybe just 200 words or less is already enough to express the basic topics and make a plan or discuss some important things. Nothing too deep. I was very impressed in just 2 months to be able to develop that. And I think it comes from the mindset, because he believed, I'm good enough now. There's not a certain point when you say, okay, now I can start speaking. He said, I'll start speaking straight away.
Wow.
Very impressive. So
just convince yourself you can make it happen.
Exactly. Start now. Day 0.
If you hesitate, you're not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
You're not gonna move anywhere. Just do it. And use what you learn. The word you know, just even little. So what? Wow, impressive, like you say. 那我们这一期呢，就跟Hazie聊到关于语言的学习。他一开始也跟我们分享他在 Korea 教英文，然后在印度也有，日本也有1对1的家教。他也跟我们分享怎么样去做这样的一个语言学习。然后他在 South Korea 就提到那个 immersive，那个 role play 啦这方面的一个角色扮演，还有沉浸式的学习。他也去找这样的工作，让他自己能够更快在这个语言当中可以去习得。然后当中我也跟他聊到他们国家英语跟美语的差别在哪里。他们会认为说英语或 British English 比这个 American English 是比较高尚 more decent, more noble, right? Than American English. 但是他觉得美语的一些重要的东西已经被这个拿掉了，就如同我们的中文繁体字跟大陆的简体字，如果那个心被拿掉，重要的那个部分就不见了，那失去那个意义。所以那个我们Hazie也举了一些例子给我们听。好，那还有一趴呢，就是刚才提到威尔斯、爱尔兰、英格兰Scotland。What else?
Northern
Ireland, 北爱尔兰。OK， 那是属于他们这一部分。然后当中他们都有各自的政府。还有呢，他最喜欢的是那个 Wales， 然后他们的文化啦，然后他朋友在那边，觉得他们各方面的生活都蛮不错的。好，那节目的最后我们就拉到这个学习英文，我们 Hazie 是否还有其他的建议给我们学习英文？他交代就是说去使用嘛，然后让自己在情境式里面去使用。最后呢，我也问了 Hazie， 他在学日文的时候有没有遇到什么困难？他说最难的就是那个转换 switch， right？
Yeah.
Grammar， 因为已经有那种既定的语言的模式在里面，要转换成另外一个语言对他来说是一个挑战，比较困难。但是他还是克服了。那当中我也请他用日文。Okay, I asked Hazie to use Japanese to introduce herself a little bit. See, impressive. All right, and she has been working on Mandarin. All right, 所以我请他说，在台湾再待久一点，你就可以把你的中文学得跟日文一样好。OK， 好，那就是我们这一集关于语言的分享，让我们Hazie来跟我们听众一起分享。感谢你们收听，我们下次空中见，拜拜。
Thank you，谢谢。